Well, let's bring in Greens Senator and Disability Spokesperson Jordon Steele-John, who joins me now from Perth. Hi there, Jordon. Thanks so much for your time this afternoon. Just firstly, what do you make of the changes announced today?
Thank you very much for your time today. My reaction is one of shock and of deep sadness. The disability community knew that this announcement would be bad, but this is quite frankly terrifying for us and our families.
Can you take me through the reasons why? You obviously, as you say, people were expecting changes to be announced, but what is it about the changes that have been announced this afternoon that are so shocking and saddening for you?
Well, first of all, the government's announced cuts to social and community participation. What that actually is supports that enable disabled people to spend some time outside in the community, sometimes an hour a week. And now those supports are on the chopping block because of this announcement. The government has said that they intend to remove 160,000 participants from the National Disability Insurance Scheme. They obviously know the criteria that they will use to remove that number of people, and yet they haven't made that public today. They've kept the criteria hidden from the very people it will affect. What this means is that thousands of families will live for weeks, months, if not years, in the anguish and uncertainty if they are next to lose their supports. This is not what the Australian community expect from a Labor government.
You touched on it there, these changes to social and community participation, which was singled out by the Minister as a target for some of these spending cuts. The Minister said in his speech that it was because of concerns about the actual quality of the services being provided. But just take us through what sort of material impact those changes will have on people who are accessing the social and community participation services.
Well, what it means for people, if we step outside of the political spin of this moment, is fewer hours to be able to access their community, to meet up with their friends or to connect with their family. It means loneliness, it means isolation, it means segregation. It means a return for disabled people to the shut-in institutions that we thought we had left behind long ago.
There's sort of long been talk about concerns around blowouts within the NDIS. Do you acknowledge that, it had gotten too broad and that it was in need of major changes in order to be sustainable?
Well, let's tackle this question of sustainability because there's been a lot of talk about it. When the NDIS was set up, we did not know how many disabled people there were. All government programs are based on projections, and 10 years later we now know there are more disabled people than we expected, requiring more supports and services. And that is why, as I sit here and we look at the NDIS, it's actually a net economic gain, because for every $1 that's put into the scheme, you have $2.25 that is taken, that is put back into the economy in the form of people spending money with Australian businesses, support workers that have jobs, disabled people that have jobs and pay taxes. At the end of the day, budgets are about choices, and with this announcement, Labor is choosing to cut supports for disabled people and our families rather than make the gas companies pay their fair share of tax, or the billionaires and the big corporations chip in a bit more. And that is not a decision that aligns with Australian values.
What sort of reforms would you have preferred to see be announced today?
Well, I think it would have been a really good idea to sit down with the disability community and work with us on how we actually tackle the barriers to access to the NDIS and the broader supports that are needed. If we just take this one issue of fraud, which has been spoken about a lot in the last couple of weeks, often as quite a distraction from what the government is actually doing here, which is making savage cuts. But on the question of fraud, Let's actually fund the Quality and Safeguards Commission properly so that it can investigate that fraud, those criminal activities, and get convictions. Because at the moment, in the entire life of the Commission, there's been 23 convictions from their investigations. That's nowhere near good enough.
Greens Senator and Disability spokesperson Jordon Steele-John joining me from Perth there. Thanks very much for your insights this afternoon. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Authorised by J. Steele-John, Australian Greens, Canberra.